YouTube, what's good? My name is Yusuf, and I started a cleaning company back when I was in college called Refreshco. I grew it to multi-six figures, built a legit book of business, and got it to the point where it could run without me doing all the cleaning, and then I sold it. In this video, I'm gonna break down how I went from a college kid to a cleaning business owner, what the business actually looked like behind the scenes, and then some of those darkest moments that almost broke me, but it didn't, and why I decided to sell my first baby, and what I completely do different if I was starting a cleaning business today. Make sure you stay to the end because I know that there's something you really want to know, and I'm gonna tell you. Let's get into it. When I started Refreshco, I wasn't a guru. I was just a young kid in college, and I knew I wanted to be in business. I essentially been in business my entire life. I had a corporate job lined up, and I thought that was gonna be my path. Then I got the news, you're not getting the return offer. So when that happened, a switch flipped for me because I had all this energy, all this drive. So I said, all right, bet, I'm gonna start my own thing. And that's how Refreshco was born. Now, I didn't sit down and say I want to start this multi-six-figure cleaning company. I knew no one in the space. I knew nothing about the space. And it was completely different than what I did before. I used to resell sneakers, and I had a sneaker event. All I knew is that I wanted this thing to work. I wanted to build a real business, not just hustle. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a roadmap. I only had Google, YouTube. And one of the first moments that made it feel real for me was when I met Miss Monica and her husband. They hired me to clean their event space, and when they gave me that chance, it gave me all the confidence that I needed to keep going. After that, I got the opportunity to clean an Airbnb for the first time, and that's when I had my first month with 2 cleanings. And after that, it took me about 8 months, right before I graduated Morehouse, before things started to pick up. Right before graduation, April, I had a month where we did 10 cleanings. That was about $2,000 in revenue. And then the following month after that, May, the month that I graduated, we did 20 cleanings. And then going into June, we went up to like 35 cleanings. And that's when I started to treat this thing like a real business, and I started to really figure everything out. Really started that journey. I realized then that a cleaning business wasn't really about cleaning. It was really about your sales, your operations, and then the people you have on your team. And after June, I started to treat it just like that. I started to treat it like a real business, and then everything started to shift. Beginning, I did everything. If it meant mopping, driving across town, talking to customers all day, handling customer complaints, I did everything. I did it all. But over time, I learned that a business is supposed to run without you. So I started to focus on that. How do I build this business to run without me? So I began investing in myself. I went to events like Grant Cardone 10X Conference, Ricky Regalato's Cleaning and Cocktails. I watched how other people built their teams, doing a lot of research. I got ideas from mentors in the cleaning industry, Terry, Benito, Mark, Mila, as many who helped me along the way. But then I had to learn what they taught me with all the lessons that I was learning on my own. And that's how I learned something like hiring great cleaners. I had independent contractors, I had employees, and this isn't legal advice, but I just had to learn these things the hard way. And eventually I got it to a point where I was fairly hands-off. All I did was sales, focus on the vision and my relationships. I had an office manager that handled all of the customer operations, the cleaners, talking to the customers and things of that nature. And eventually I had other sales reps that focused on sales for more of our smaller ticket items. And then most importantly, we had our cleaners. Our cleaners were the backbone of the business. Without them, the business would have been able to work. At first, we cleaned for everybody, but the turning point for the business was when I learned about the power of niching down. Niching down is super important. We niche down into the Airbnb space and the commercial cleaning space. And once we did that, everything began to click. We knew who our customer was. We knew what kind of spaces that we could actually clean very well. Our systems began to make sense. We had more clarity on the services we offer, how to price them, and we could build schedules around that much better. And once that was clear and I was finally able to put real systems in place, I didn't have to reinvent the wheel for every new customer we got because all of our customers had the same problems and I had that system in place for them. One of the deepest stretches for me was when I brought on a team. I essentially had everything running smoothly as I thought. And then it got to a point where I realized that I owed my team money and I realized I wasn't managing the cash right. We weren't pricing things right. I was juggling too much, and I had to do one of the hardest things and fire everybody, and I had to go do all those cleanings myself. I was super in a dark place. We had multiple Airbnbs. We had all of our regular home cleaning clients. We had commercial spaces, and I did everything myself. I had some help, some friends helped me, so shout out all my friends that helped me. So thank you guys for helping me during those moments, because it was dark for me. I remember I was just banging Celsius like every single day, so shout out Celsius. During that time, I lost like 15, 20 pounds during that phase. I got super skinny. I was exhausted. I was moving nonstop, but I pushed through because that's what I had to do. That season, it broke me, but it also built me back up because I came out of that with my confidence a little different. I proved to myself that, when things get tough, can rebuild. So what you really need to know in business is you need to know how to price, and you need to be very clear on your numbers for things, because if the numbers and the money isn't right, things ain't gonna be right. So you really need to focus on that. Once I learned that, everything changed with my business. All right, so let me fast forward. Over time, I won my biggest contract. I lost that contract. I learned how to price, learned how to clean commercial spaces. I learned how to niche down. Like I said, we niched into commercial and Airbnb. I began to get more money into the business, and I fought my way out of having a business that wasn't running well. And eventually RefreshCo was in a decent place. We had strong contracts, solid book of business. We had great cleaners doing the work for us. I could travel. My family went through a really tough moment, and I had to take some time away from the business. But luckily enough, the business had systems where I was able to go and do that. But even with all that, I began to start to feel a shift within myself. We had great clients and things of that nature, but there was this one client who I was thinking about letting go. Something told me to let this client go, and then as I started to think further, something told me to kind of let everything go. And so I realized that that chapter of running RefreshCo was really starting to end for me, and I really thought of just shutting the business down, just walking away. But then something came to me like, don't shut it down, sell it. And around that time, I was going through a lot personally. I was moving, I was spending a lot of time alone, and I was studying Supreme Wisdom. And I began to learn how to listen to what my mind and the universe were saying to me. And I remember this moment, I was just sitting there thinking, reflecting, and something was just over me. And it said, Yusuf, sell the business. And I knew it wasn't gonna be simple, and it wasn't gonna be easy, because this was my first business, and emotionally my identity was tied to it. Everyone knew me as a cleaning guy, so I was wrestling with, if I sell, am I quitting? Are people gonna think that I failed? All the people who helped me build this. But at the same time, I knew the truth. The business was still running, it had demand, but we were pretty stagnant, because I wasn't as hungry as I was in the beginning. I wasn't as hungry to do the work that needed to be done. And if people wanted to book cleanings with us, cool. But if they didn't, cool. It didn't matter to me anymore. I was doing what I was doing. And so that's when really I had that epiphany that sometimes what you have to do is you have to just move on so you can open yourself up to new things so you can grow. So that's what I did. I sold RefreshCo, and now that chapter is closed. All right, now let's switch gears. If I had this playbook 5 years ago, I would have skipped 80% of all those sleepless nights, all those tough moments, all those nights where I felt it all in my chest. I felt it in my chest. My anxiety was in my chest for me, but I felt it here. If I was starting a cleaning business today, here's what I'd do differently. Number one is accept that it's gonna be an uphill battle, not in a negative way, but in a realistic way. You aren't owed success, you aren't owed easy clients, you aren't owed support from your friends and your family and the world. You aren't owed these things. So you have to know that there's gonna be seasons where you have to literally solve everything yourself. You have to support yourself. And if I accepted that earlier, I would have been able to take all those punches, all that anxiety. I felt my anxiety in my chest. I don't know where you feel it, but I had mine in my chest. But if I knew that, I would have dealt with it easier. Number two is admit that you don't know business yet. You really don't know what you're doing, and you need to learn faster. There's so much to know about specific business principles in the industry that you're in that you won't know in the beginning, and people aren't going to tell you. Pricing for that industry, the margins for that industry, getting cash flow for that industry, hiring for that industry, creating contracts for that industry. You aren't just going to learn that or know that from day one. So the faster you learn, the faster you grow. if I was starting over, I'd be networking, I'd be talking to a lot more owners of that business, I would be getting into these rooms. But then lastly is if I had someone that had all of that information ready to go in a very sequenced way, I would pay for that information. Number 3 is I would obsess over sales. At the end of the day, sales is the lifeblood of the business. So if new clients aren't coming in, nothing else matters, you will go broke. I would spend all of my time on learning how to sell, sharpening my offer, following up with leads, trying to get new business in the doors. Eventually I got there, but there was times where I was spending more money than money was coming in, and I would look and be like, what's going on? And it was because I didn't have new people coming in every day. You need a new dollar coming in your business. Either you need a new dollar or you need a customer who's already spent money with you to spend money with you again. You need that literally every single day. I would spend all of my time on that right there, just getting more business into your doors. All right, number 4, treat your cleaners like they are the core asset that you have, and make sure you have a Rolodex of cleaners. I wish I understood this in the beginning, because the cleaners were the most important part, and when we went through tough moments, the reason is because customers weren't happy, and that's because our cleaners weren't the best. And it was when we got good cleaners, I was able to see that if you treat them well, if you make sure that they're valued, and you invest in that relationship with them, training, having better expectations, making sure that they're growing as a person, then your business will do better, because without them, your business is nothing. It'll collapse. All right, guys, and so for number 5 is protect my energy and enjoy life. So this might be one of the biggest ones, because I work incredibly hard, and I'm sure you work incredibly hard just for the sake of hustling, right? And so I work very hard to keep the business rolling. And after all that stress, after losing all that weight, after being in survival mode seasons for a long time, I realized that the business doesn't do well if you do well. Like having that hustler mindset, it made me ignore my health, ignore rest, and ignore moments that I should be present for. So if I was to start over, I'd still work hard, but I'd be a lot more intentional. I would take breaks. I would take moments to really be present, and I wouldn't tie my whole self-worth in the ups and downs of the business, because at the end of the day, no one cares. No one cares about your business. Only thing people care about is themselves and the results that you can provide them. So you have to be the one to protect yourself and protect your energy. So here's where I'm at now. Sold the business. I'm in a new season of my life, and I don't want everything that I learned to just go to waste, just sitting in my head or sitting in my Google Docs. So if you're a cleaning business owner, or you want to start a cleaning business, or just any business for that matter, I put everything that I know into what I'm calling Cleaning Business Mastery. It's going to be hosted on WOP, and this isn't going to be any random tips or just something BS to sell you. This is going to be my path that I think another cleaning business owner should take into an organized fashion. 5 years of my wins and L's, and what it took for me to build a multi-6-figure cleaning company. To make it easier for you to tap in, I built a free starter kit. It's going to be the kit that I would tell someone to take if they were to start their cleaning business today. It's going to be free, gives you the foundation, how the business works, the systems you need, the mindset you need, so you don't burn out like I did at moments. And all you got to do is hit the link in the description and grab the starter kit. Get inside our ecosystem. Once you're inside, you'll see everything that we're going to have, the classes, trainings, and a full path for you. So over the next little while, I'm going to be dropping one more video. It's going to be a step-by-step breakdown of how to start your cleaning business from scratch. And then after that, I'm done talking about cleaning on YouTube. Not because I don't like the industry, but because I gave 5 years of my life to it. And so I'm going to end it there. If you're serious about starting a cleaning business, or starting any business for that fact, don't just say cool video, click off. Go ahead and grab the free starter kit and see if the cleaning space makes sense for you. The cleaning business can provide you with cash flow, and that's what you need. That's what people need. It can provide you with cash flow every single month. If you only have one income, you need an additional. One income is close to none, okay? And the cleaning business is something that can provide you with some consistent income 100%. I was there. I had one income, and having a cleaning business with me, I consistently have money coming in every single month. And so if that's something that you're looking for, then go ahead and check this out, because you can really change your life and your family's life simply by just making an additional $2,000 to $5,000 a month. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to stop what else you're doing, because you aren't going to be cleaning every single day. You can, eventually you will, but you're not going to be working 24/7. So you can do this and have something on the side. You can have something, your main 9 to 5, and do this on the side. It doesn't matter. You can do it and make additional money. But if you're someone who wants it to be easy, if you're someone who thinks this is a get rich quick, you think you're gonna start a cleaning business and just start balling or winning, you're not. You could click off this video. I'm sorry for wasting your time, but the cleaning space won't be for you. It's gonna require you to work hard. It's gonna require you to give it some dedication before to get kick started. Now, if you grab the starter kit, I'm gonna give you all the steps so you can just bypass all the hard stuff. I'm gonna tell you exactly how you can start getting to the money. So go ahead, click the link down below if that's you. You really want to take some action, you want to change your life. Go ahead and grab the starter kit. I'm going to see you on the inside. If you've been rocking with me this long, you've supported me in the beginning, or if you just stayed to the end of this video, I want to say thank you so much, and I'm on to the next journey.